I love QVC. I came on 6 months ago, and any opportunity to talk about what they're doing is an opportunity to spend time with you. And I think Gary has been one of the loudest voices about live shopping. And so I wanted to come here and share with you a few things you might not know about QVC, what we've learned. This is an important time. The next chapter, I think, in commerce is definitely going to be social shopping. And so we're leaning in a very heavy way. And I'm really attracted to brands that are so beloved and iconic like QVC. And so I feel very lucky to be there. And it was really the people that I met along the way that made me say, all right, you have to go there.
So Alex, let's talk a little bit about what is happening in the world of QVC Group. I think people think that live social shopping is something that's completely not new, but I'd say that your organization is really the pioneers of what's possible in the world of live shopping.
I think that we should just talk and level set about QVC because I think I thought I knew 6 months ago what QVC is. When you look at the amount of content, right, Avery, that we create, we're doing 120 live hours every day on television. That adds up to 40,000 hours a year of content. We'll be with maybe 1,200 different products in a given week, 4,000 different vendors that we're working with. For our website, over 1 billion in the last year sessions. And then on TikTok, and we're going to talk a little bit about TikTok, but get this, we're already doing 170 live hours on TikTok. We have 5 channels, and we'll talk about them too. 35 million sessions, essentially, and live streams that we've done on that already. And it's working with more creators than you would imagine. In the time we've been doing this, less than a year, and this is the jaw-dropping part for me, 400,000 creators we're working with on TikTok. And we even have a loyalty program that was the first of the launch on TikTok. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I think the only other thing I would say to you, Avery, is that we're bigger in the way we ship things out too, right? We do 200 million shipments in the last year. We have 400,000 SKUs. We have 15 different fulfillment centers. We have 13 million customers. Like, you think you know QVC, and they're just massive. They are the original social influencer, right? They are the disruptor in this space. There's no one really bringing storytelling and scale and shoppability in an entertaining way. And now is this moment, like, how great is this, that there's this moment where people are live shopping on social. This is exactly the right time for us.
Let's talk a little bit about that DNA, that sort of initial behavior. I also want to give a huge shout out to Kim, who is here. Kim is actually going to be on a panel later, has sold billions of dollars worth of products on QVC. And I think a lot of times, we have these influencers or new creators who have started or been at this for 12 months or 18 months. There are people who've been doing this for years and decades and built really successful businesses, leveraging the power of QVC and the power of social shopping. Can you talk a little bit about how you think that DNA has influenced this next generation of more sort of social media centric shopping?
Yeah, I think, I mean, when you look at the landscape, right, and I would just say there are two kind of things happening, a confluence of events, right? There's this $1.3 trillion e-commerce business now that's going to grow by $1 trillion in the next 5 years, right? And social. China, 500 billion. Most of it live shopping right now. This very thing that's behind us, that's happening in China. It's a leading indicator of where things are going. And so there's so much energy around that. And then QVC and many of the people who are working in social shopping want to make a connection with others. That's what it was all about, right? Is like that human connection. I think we'll talk a little bit about AI as well too, but we specialize in connecting with people on a one-to-one basis on the social platform. We've done it obviously on a one-to-many basis across our TV network. So I think a lot of the behaviors, like you and I have talked about this, like scrolling, right? Social scrolling is the new channel surfing. Wouldn't you agree? Like, you are scrolling through channels like you used to do channels on TV. You're looking at it online and you're saying to yourself, what's going to make my thumb stop? What is going to be the one thing that makes me stop? And nowadays, it might be some sort of incredible video that you can't believe. But the reality is that with AI, I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. The thing that really gets me to stop is a person that I can connect to, that I know is on the other side, that can relate to it, has done it, has worn it, has seen it, who lives it. And I think that notion is something that people are starving for, and that's why it's worked in China, and I think that's why we're seeing it pick up here, and that's why you guys are doing the summit.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember maybe 6 years ago, I did our Vayner's first ever live stream with a celebrity in China. And of course, I couldn't read any of the Mandarin characters, but I asked the team what was happening because it was like millions of comments. And they're like, oh, it's saying they're so tired, they're closing their eyes, but they can't wait for the promo code. They can't wait for the promo code. And I was like, there's a behavior called Cinderella shoppers, and we had a actually Chinese rapper, Lucy Liu, who did a performance for this brand, and it was crazy because when they showed the results, I was like, that must have an extra zero, and they're like, no, that's accurate, and it was within a matter of minutes selling millions of dollars worth of product. Of course, China is at a whole different scale, but you all see stuff like that happen on your platform every day.
Yeah, and Kim will talk a little bit about that too, and it takes a certain level of stamina and brilliance and talent that she brings to it, and it takes a unique type. But what I would say to you, Avery, is the reason that it's still early days, and I think people in this room can relate, but it will be huge. There's no doubt about it, and Gary and all of you know this, is because it's very hard. Right? It's very hard. Like, you can disintermediate different parts of the value chain. You can do things where you can broadcast very quickly, but to do what we're trying to do at scale is massive, right? Not only do we have the personalities and not only do we have the content, but then you have to identify the merchandise, source the merchandise, warehouse the merchandise, create the content for many different platforms. Then you have to actually get the transaction done and close the deal on an e-commerce site. Oh, and by the way, you have to fulfill that and send it out.
Oh, and there's more.
And deliver it, right? I mean, and you know what
there's more.
One thing that I think about, Avery, all the time, and that I find so impressive about QVC and HSN is the customer service, right? If you buy something, and we should talk about trust, but if you buy something, who do you call? How do you make sure you got it? How do you return it? How do you trade up? How do you upsell? How do you do any of those things? So I think that's why kind of QVC has been waiting for this, and HSN have been waiting for this moment. This is the moment to do that. And we want to work with people to do that. We want to help each other because I think all boats rise by doing it together.
I completely agree. And, you talked a little bit about the talent, and like, it is such a talent who's able to both connect with consumers, sell products to consumers, drive that trust, drive that relatability. Talk a little bit about how the investment that your organization is also putting behind the talents and all the different platforms you're showing up on.
Sure. So we are in very big. You hear of QVC Group, which includes HSN and includes QVC, of course.
And Ballard Designs, which
and
I
Ballard
recently
Designs
learned.
And all the cornerstone brands, right? So again, much bigger, and we're going to be selling products and have been selling products from those brands as well too. I think that the level of investment has been significant because we know that we have to get to these individual cohorts. I think Gary's done a great job of talking a little bit about organic and about more narrow cohorts. And so now we have QVC, we have HSN on TikTok, but we also have QVC Beauty. We have QVC Fashion. We're about to launch in October, QVC Decor, right? And so getting these destinations and getting them places where people can come to and have a reliable way of connecting with one another and connecting with one another there, I think is going to be extremely powerful. I foresee with the team 100 channels like that, where we're actually able to connect with them in a deep way. And I think the thing that I would add is we did, many of you may know this, but in April, we announced a partnership with TikTok to go in deeply. And it's enabled us to really run and learn and do these 170 hours that we're doing every week, have 5 channels. We'll have 10 studios by the end of the year. And we've been able to learn just so much by doing that and iterate and learn from the customers and learn from the vendors.
Yeah, I think that that's an unexpected move and not necessarily one that everyone would think QVC is going to partner up with TikTok, but I think it's brilliant because you all have the talent and the network and the distribution. Partnering with TikTok to use a lot of their channels to help amplify and tell that story is brilliant. Can you tell us a little bit about that decision and also how QVC and HSN Group are showing up in the world of TikTok?
Yeah, we've, I think right now, like I said, I would say that there's 2 parts to this, right? So of course there's the live piece, which takes a very unique expertise. Many of our the talent, gifted talent like him, are on omni-channel, right? So they're able to work across many of these different platforms.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere, and all boats do really rise. Like you can say you're 360, but we are truly omni-channel, right? We're on linear, we're on digital, we're on streaming, we're on social, and we're able to eventize things in a really exciting way. But I think when you think about what we're doing on TikTok, we have this live piece, and we're standing up more quickly. I think I said 35 million live streams in just the few months that we've done this in the last year. And then on top of that, we are working with so many creators, right? The 400,000 creators over the course of the last 8 months. And so we've set up loyalty programs. We're investing in them. If you're a creator and you work with QVC, we want it to be worth your time. We want to give you more if you're doing a better sales, larger sales on commission, give you access to products that you wouldn't necessarily have, give you an education about that, give you awards. So I think it's a two-way street. We have a relationship with the customer and then the customer with us. We have a relationship with our vendors. It's really important that they're on that. And then we have a relationship with our creators. There's no way it works without the creators and that authentic connection to the brand.
Absolutely incredible. So you mentioned trust, and I think that's such a critical variable in general in 2026. Consumer trust in many things has never been lower, but in certain things, including brands, that's actually a place that they're not sure if they can trust the news, but sometimes they can trust their favorite brands. And QVC Group sits at this intersection of entertainment, really, trust and convenience. How do you strike that balance, and how do you think about that as a leader of the organization going into 2026?
I love this question. This is my favorite question so far. The reason is that there's a problem. I don't know if you can relate, but there's a problem in commerce, in retail right now, okay? So on the one hand, you've got these big box stores that are very efficient, very trustworthy, not fun. Then over here, you've got social, super fun. Don't know if you can trust it. If you can bring together entertainment and e-commerce and retail and do it in a way, which is what we specialized in, I think that is a winning move. I love that hand. That's why I came, because I met the people who were convinced that they could do it. And, David Rawlinson is our CEO. He had a vision that this is where we need to go. And we have this win strategy, which you may hear about, but it's wherever, right? Wherever she is. And being inspiring about our products and people, and then the N is in new ways to work, and we have kind of all of us rowing in that same exact direction, because we know that it's important to be able to trust a brand, and it's important to be entertaining and fun and to connect with someone on a human scale. And so with social, we can do that. We're back, right? In that way that we connect on a one-on-one basis. People can comment, people can ask questions. We can connect with our individual contributors and hosts, which are hungry for it. I know Kim wants to talk to every single person, and it kills her that she can't do that every single time with every person. But there are millions of people, and TV is so critical. But on social, it's really given us another opportunity to amplify what we're doing on TV, amplify what we're doing on digital, and bring in streaming so you can go even deeper.
And I'm curious, this wasn't even a scripted question, but I'm curious if this is bringing in new demographics to your organization, or is it the same people in another place?
The audience that is 45-year-old, 50 women and above are definitely on TikTok, right? They are definitely on social media. I think we're being foolish if we think that they're not buying at a significant rate on these different platforms. I think that some of the audience is definitely coming over, and they're already there, and they're like, where were you? Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
We were waiting for you. And I think a lot of brands are going to need to mobilize quickly. And if we can help those brands, we'll do it, just because we're investing in learning. But here's a stat that is awesome. My favorite stat so far, which is that in Q2 alone, we had over 100,000 new customers that never, I'm not talking about reactivated. I'm not talking about, we looked at our entire customer file of millions and millions of people, and we looked at everybody that was coming through transactions on TikTok, and over 100,000. One of our very fastest growing channels was TikTok. And we were nowhere 6 or 8 months ago because no one was anywhere. And we went in early, and it's been very rewarding. So the answer is yes, and, right? Some of them are already there, but the fastest growing probably consumer base is happening already in TikTok. And I predict it will overtake any channel that we're working in, at least in the short term.
That's amazing.
That was unscripted, Susie. I didn't even know that.
He's got
that
facts.
question. I know. I'm talking too fast.
Yeah, well, I'd love to hear some of your other surprising learnings, because there must be things over the last several months as you've learned different things, uncovered different stones. What has stood out to you in the last several months that you've been in the QVC group?
There are many things that come to mind. I think by getting into the categories, by working so closely with TikTok on this, and then expanding our streaming, leaning into all of the other platforms like Meta and Instagram and Pinterest. I think one thing that has been amazing is the scale. So we talked about that a little, 400,000 creators, but we also have 75,000 products that are on TikTok right now that our affiliates can sell, right, and tag. We are, I think the scale, we've tripled our number of followers on TikTok. I think it's just kind of jaw-dropping how much scale, how so quickly we did that. I think another thing outside of the new customers that has been surprising, exciting, is that we eventize things. So I kind of alluded to this already, but we had Super Brand Day, something that TikTok does. We were able to combine that with an Age of Possibility event where we had our ambassadors there, all in Los Angeles. We were able to create something bigger in real life that still had an extension to a Super Brand Day or a mega event, all these different things. Like, you can really eventize things. You can look at the before, during, and after of an event on TikTok, right? And then we can work with all of our talent to make sure that you cannot miss it on TV. You cannot miss something that you can only get on streaming and get on programming. So I think those things have been surprising. I love food. We did an experiment with Dave Venable the other day with food, and people went crazy. It's really fun to buy food, and everyone likes food. And our food is amazing. You might be surprised, but the food's incredible.
What's your favorite food?
Well, I just got, I'm
sell?
in Los Angeles right now, but I'm always in Westchester for work. But I missed the bagels, and there were some really great, New York bagels that I got shipped to my house. So my family just gobbled them up. And there's salmon. I mean, there's just, the list goes on. There's candy. There's so many really yummy things.
My favorite category in the QVC world is home care products. I feel like I learn a lot about cleaning products there. There's a lot of education that goes into these things.
Yes, the demos are great. Like, I know that it's a little retro.
I'm not 45, Alex.
Yes, and you don't need to be. There was this expression that Avery, I think someone said, what is it? That TikTok is the QVC of Gen Z, and I would submit to you that QVC is the QVC of Gen Z, right? And it's for all of us, right? It is that next connection. It is, as Gary said eloquently, the QVC-ification of things. And so, again, I know I'm like a rah-rah about all this, but I would just say to you, we want to see this succeed. Whether we work with you directly as a creator or as a vendor, or if we're side by side, channel by channel, it works for all of us, and we can see it coming. That wave, right? We're out paddling on that board. I'm thinking of my son right now. And it is a wave to catch. And I think you guys have been prescient about this, and the fact that this summit probably has never existed, not only for you but for anyone, and probably at least in the United States, is a really great sign.
I thank you for saying that. It's something that we've been practicing and getting better. We've got a lot of people in this room that have helped us build that, from our own live shopping studio at Hudson Yards to many of the brands who've helped us with various pilots. But you all can help people a lot. So whether someone here is in the audience as a creator or as a brand, how can QVC Group help them? How do they get involved?
So if you're on TikTok already as a creator in our affiliate program, we have a loyalty program, right? We look at the top 5, 10, 50, 100, and we reward you with better commissions, with awards of access to certain products. You can win a trip. So, I mean, we really have thought through, and no one's done that yet. So if you're a creator, yes, you could have opportunities to be on our individual streams and live streams that we're doing, but you could also just pick the product you love, talk about it from the heart, and make a fortune, right? Because you're out there talking about it and reaching out to people. For vendors, we have 400,000 SKUs. We work with over 4,000 different vendors. I think it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me sometimes, as you can tell, and we're learning all the time, but we are so far ahead, and it's so important to be quick that if there are people, if there are vendors, and you're like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to, I have the material, or I have the talent, or I have some part of the value chain, but I don't have all the pieces. We will help you. we can do that together under this QVC brand, under the Q brand, under the HSN brand. So I would say to vendors who want to dip their toe in the water, this is a very quick way to do that.
Fantastic. Alex, thank you so much. This was a fascinating, highly educational, and entertaining fireside.
Thank you, Avery.